Yo, it is another edition of the High Ups podcast. Jack, if you had told me Friday morning that we would be doing this pod and not be completely despondent about it, I wouldn't have believed you, because that game on Thursday was maybe even more embarrassing than the 13-0 loss to the Reds. Like, the lifeless, embarrassing performance against a team that had lost 8 straight games in your freaking ballpark, not even showing up for it. And then Nola gives up the 3-run shot in the first the next day. And we're like, well, this is going to freaking suck. Like, what the hell? And then they battle. We get a clutch Schwarber homer. We get a big hit from Edmundo Sosa. Nick Castellanos hitting bombs. Brandon Marsh, the best hitter in baseball. Fritzy, we're back.
We're so back. And
Thursday
night, I understood it. It was like, what a despondent, brutal, awful, what are you guys doing kind of performance where they just came out lifeless. And I said it after the game, like, they look like a team that had just played 2 games on Tuesday, played a day game yesterday. They get to return home for the first time in like 8 days, and they get to face Ryan Feltner, who had like an 8 ERA, and the Rockies team who had lost 8 straight. And they kind of just were like, all right, we'll show up and win.
Yeah.
And to this team's credit, and what they did last year and what they did at the beginning of portions of this year, which is they bounced back. And it's like, every time people are like, wow, there it is. There's the Fugazi baseball team. They're the one-hit wonders that got hot and went to the World Series last year. It feels like they do a really, really good job bouncing back. And when they have an embarrassing loss, like they did 5-0, like they did last Saturday, it feels like the next game they come out more locked in, more ready to go. And we have to understand that, like, bad games happen. I mean, bad teams beat good teams all the time. I mean, worst teams in baseball will still win 60-plus games. Maybe not the A's.
Not the A's, buddy.
Maybe not the
A's, pal.
But like, it's good to see them kind of starting to right the ship. And I know Thursday night was bad, but I still genuinely felt the last week and a half of baseball that we'd seen from them, James, was closer to them starting to break through and be the team that we believed in this offseason. And like, taking 3 or 4, coming back in some of these games, not always being the prettiest brand of baseball, whatever. They had a lot of that last year. They still made the playoffs and went to the World Series. So I'm proud of them. Welcome to the season. 1 game under 500. And I just, I hate that there's an off day tomorrow, but whatever.
I'm proud of them. I love it. Look at you. You're such an easy sell. Look, nice to see Houston handle the Braves a little bit as we hoped for. Oh, it's a big difference between 7 back and 4.5 or 4, whatever it is now, pending today's game. Like, or no, 4.5, I guess it would be, like, or 5, could be 4.5, whatever it is. A big difference than the 7 before, and obviously way too early to worry about it. But yeah, look, I think I am very impressed with the way they battled back after the 3-run homer from Nola, because Thursday was just a disgraceful, abysmal, embarrassing showing from that team. But then, after the 3-run homer, it looks like, oh man. And then Nola settled in and gave him 6 strong after that and really gave him a chance to win. And then, who else but Schwarber? It's the big home run to tie it. Sosa, the big hit to win it, in the 8th, but so, and then makes that great play in the 9th. And, and then the next night, the 2 Casty homers, the Christian Pache. I mean, what a day. You get 2 homers from Castellanos and a Pache homer. Like, you have to win that game. Like, that's an automatic must win in the moment. But, and it wasn't pretty. And look, today they handled business, and, they got some hits when they needed it, some home runs with runners on base. Would have thought the Stott homer, by the way, I was listening to Fransky, only the 3rd home run with runners in scoring position all season. So good.
Sounds about right.
It's good to hear.
Sounds about right.
But like, look, you could look at it and say, listen, they should have beaten these teams that, on a higher, they should be better than 11 and 12 based on the schedule to start the season like that. And that's fair. They should have, won more against the Reds. They shouldn't have, they should have swept the Rockies. Jack said it going in the weekend, or else probably like, it's a sweep. It's got to be a sweep this weekend. And, the way it happens, you're happy with 3 or 4. But the flip side, they've won 6 of 8. As much as it doesn't seem like it, they've won 6 of 8. And to your point, I think seeing them battle through adversity, and I know it's not serious adversity, but early season adversity. And when they really have to get hits or make plays, we've seen them make it. We've seen guys bear down. The bullpen, 0 runs allowed all weekend. Oh, the 3 games they won, 0 runs when they needed it, especially in those first 2 games. Like today, obviously a bit of an easy one, but the first 2 games were close. They were losing. The bullpen kept them in it. So I'm with you. 11-12 is not amazing, and I still think you have to be more disappointed than not with the start of the season. I think we're back. Now, the last pod we did, we're like, we're back. And then they lost that game, and maybe they're back. So I feel like more back than not.
Well, I just think that all the signs are there that they're a good team. Like we've been over this. I feel like the last, after the first week freak out, which I think was kind of justified because it was like every facet of the game they were just dreadful at, where it was just like, how about you guys just be Major League Baseball players? Maybe a crazy concept there. But really, it started that Sunday of the Red Series. And even though they split, like the Saturday game was just the worst. But you've seen them kind of settle into what we think they're going to be going forward. Now, the thing that's going to be the big kind of question mark as to how much can we believe in them is going to be Wheeler and Nola. Because without their number 1 and number 2 being like true number 1s and number 2, it's hard to like start putting them down as being, I think they could probably still make the playoffs the way they're pitching right now, but like doing actual damage. Like you need your aces, you need your guys to be your guys. And like Nola did fine on Thursday, on Friday night. It was good. The first inning home run was annoying. But whatever, like he bounced back. It was more good rather than great. And my thing with
Nola, against the Rockies, I mean, there's a bad lineup. It's a bad team. It's going to be different when you're facing that Braves lineup, or whatever you want to say.
Well, thankfully they don't play them as much as they do. And
hey now.
But my concerning thing with Aaron Nola right now is that he has 21 strikeouts in 28 innings. His strikeout per 9 is 7. His career is like 9.5, 10. So he had 3 strikeouts on Friday night, which is just like, I mean, if he wants to be a contact pitcher, whatever, but like the Aaron Nola that was 4th in Cy Young last year and like has been a very valuable pitcher in the last couple of years. And what made him valuable was taking down a ton of innings, not walking anyone, and striking out a ton of batters. Well, he's not striking out a ton of guys right now. So, maybe he's changing up repertoire and being more contact oriented, but still, that's something to monitor going forward. And Zach Wheeler today, like he was like pretty good, and then he's unbelievable. And then
the first 3 innings he was unhittable. I mean, 7 strikeouts. He was awesome.
Stupid. And then he reached up, but it's just like that 4th inning for him. It was the 3rd inning last time. It was the 4th inning this time, and it's like he gets there, it kind of snowballs, and then he's like fine everywhere else besides that. It's actually very Aaron Nola-ish.
Yeah, it
Zach
is.
Wheeler.
It is. You're right. Yeah, they've actually really been carbon copies of each other this year. It's a great point. And it was nice to see Wheeler's velocity up early, but then again as he's gotten deeper, still 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. Again, not a good Rockies team, but I think I'm hopeful. I think we need to keep remembering, at least for the early portion of the season, that they did pitch till November, and that these are guys who literally had never pitched past like October 2nd or October 3rd, whenever their season had ended in the past. So like that is something that maybe it does take them a little bit longer to ramp up and get to where they need to be. Certainly a possibility, but to your point, so far this season, neither of those guys has looked like Zach Wheeler or Nola, or at least the guys we expect them to be.
So the interesting part about Wheeler's start today is that I agree with you. The velocity was down, but what's so weird about him is that he did throw like a couple of 93-mile-an-hour sliders.
Yep.
So it's like maybe this is them easing their way into the season, because when he went back out there for the 6th, his fastball was back up to 96, 97. And maybe like this is part of their management is like, hey, we're not going to just don't go out and try to throw 100 miles an hour, like work your way up to it. I mean, that's how Verlander, before he became a Met, that's how Verlander pitched a ton of innings, like first inning, 92, 93. And then by the 7th, 8th, it was like, oh, there's 100.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're doing. But I think it's encouraging that at least a 93-mile-an-hour slider doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I think that means something. I thought it
Well, and the
generated
stuff
good.
had life today, like
Yeah,
especially early
100%.
on. I mean, it looked Wheeler-esque. And also, I mean, to your point you're making about the way he's kind of easing himself into games and all that. I think that's absolutely something that could be happening with this team, and I think it makes a ton of sense. And I also thought it was a good sign that he came out and pitched the six. You know, it was what, like 93 or 94 pitches. I wouldn't have been shocked at all if Topper's like, early in the season, let's just sit you down. Came back out, cleaned it up in that six with an easy six. Went into 100 pitches. Just the fact that they were like, we're confident at this point in the season to let you go over 100 and pitch at a spot where you don't necessarily have to. I like that too.
Well, and I thought that one thing that was interesting with Wheeler today is that it seemed like he quickened up his tempo. So what I noticed early in the game, like usually he's at a set position and then he drops down. It's like methodical up and then at you. But what happened in the first couple innings was just like down, up, bang, at you. And maybe that's like a way. Maybe what he's trying to do from that aspect is, okay, I'll be quicker getting into my mechanics from the windup. And then when I get into the stretch and I have to be faster with the pitch clock, my body's already going to be adjusted to it.
Well,
So
and that might take time to get used to, right? I mean, it wouldn't be, especially because it seems like, as we talked about, it is for him has been something where most innings he's been good. He just keeps running into these spots where he walks some guys, runners get on base, and he's pitching from the stretch, and he's been struggling. So I know we've talked about that with Nola in the past, but maybe the pitch clock combination of that with Wheeler is something he's still getting used to.
yeah, and it does seem like today seemed like a classic case of I'm on such a roll out of the windup. And then it's like, oh well, here we go to the stretch, and it's not gonna be as pretty. So, and I agree with you completely. Like I was actually of the mindset of like, why are you putting Wheeler out there again? Like it's early in the season, we don't need to have him over 100 pitches. But like I've said this a lot when it comes, and he did the same thing with Nola on Friday night. Is that Nola easily could have been done after
After
six,
but he went seventh. Yep.
And what I've been like kind of harping on the final outs that I'm sure that you are downloading and listening to on your walk in.
I'm doing one of those things.
Thank you. Always appreciate the support. But no, I'm just kidding. But what I've been saying is that like I want when people freak out about pulling Nola or pulling Wheeler, like should have pulled him earlier. Like, what are you doing, Rob Thompson? You're an idiot. My pushback to that is these guys have to learn to pitch through that. And I know it's early in the season and I get that, but like these guys have to be able to overcome this stuff so that as it gets later in the season, you can have them going 7-8 innings because as the games get bigger, you want your best pitchers in there. And hopefully that's Wheeler and Nola. So like, I want to see them work through adversity and push through adversity rather than the second anything goes wrong, bang, they're out of the game.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. It's a mentality thing, and I think it's a great point. By the way, I like the Miller Lite you're drinking. Shout out to Miller Lite, presented by Miller Lite, of course. It was nice to see. I felt like almost every time I saw a shot of someone drinking a beer this weekend, and by the way, sold out crowds. Awesome to see that.
You want to talk about
Rockies, buddy? Yeah, with the Rockies in town, it's not like that's a draw at all. Like there's not one guy on the team you're excited to go watch play baseball in person.
Well, unless you wanted to like make sure CJ Cron's a Phil.
Well, CJ did audition, man. He did. Wow. He brought a little bit. Yeah, but I felt like every time they showed a shot of someone drinking a beer in the ballpark, it was a Miller Lite. It warmed my heart. It's a beautiful thing.
Welcome. I mean,
you're welcome. Yes, that's right. I mean, I wasn't going to do that, but I was doing it a little more subtly, but sure. Yeah, you're welcome, Miller Lite. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's popular beer. And I mean, I don't know if that's fair. Like, you're not there to see Ryan McMahon. You're not there to see.
Oh yeah. It was
Charlie Blackmon.
Yes, Charlie.
This is the first time. This is the first time
he didn't kill us ever. Yeah, first time ever.
Heading into the series, I believe was a career 333 hitter.
Yeah.
If my numbers are, it's either 333 or 309. But either way, the guy has just crushed us for.
It feels like anecdotally he always crushed. I think even Franzke said that when after the last infield hit, he was like, "Well, he's like, we'll take it." And he's like, "I feel like this is the first time Charlie Blackmon hasn't crushed us." So yeah. I'm right. We said it going into the series, but yeah, that Rockies team it's pretty bad.
Well, it was amazing.
It's pretty bad baseball team.
It was amazing how many, like, just absolutely, like, You want to talk about like 2017, 2018, you and I just nerding out to fantasy baseball guys that they've
Oh,
had. I mean,
oh,
between obviously some of the studs like
well,
Blackman
McMahon you
and
mentioned is definitely one of those guys who forever you're like, ooh,
but
Ryan
then
McMahon.
but then it's like Dinelson Lamet, who I will always
Uh-huh.
love, Jose Urania,
Uh-huh.
who I never really liked, but like always had good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then it was Brad Hand, coming out of the bullpen. Daniel Bard,
Mm-hmm.
back to like the '09 Red Sox, I feel like. So they had so many guys that's like, oh, he was good like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Good to see him
It's
back.
like, oh, I've
Well,
definitely owned that
Jurickson
guy.
Profar.
Yeah,
Like Jurickson
another one.
Profar, they signed
Exactly.
like a day before
By
the
the
season
way, does
started.
anyone hate Citizens Bank Park more than Jurickson Profar? It's like every time he comes here, something goes horribly wrong for him.
Mustakas is
Oh,
a
yeah, it
Rocky.
was August. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like there's so many just Harold Castro's in Rocky,
Sure,
Brent
yeah.
Suter, who I hate,
Mhm.
Ty Bloch. Like they have so many of these guys that have just been around forever that they just decided to put on the team. But I was happy for Jurickson Profar because there was like a check swing in the 8th or 7th or whatever, and they said no, it was not. It was
Yeah,
not check swing. I
yeah.
was like, oh, you got one, buddy. You
Good
finally
for
got
you,
one.
pal. I'm
He
really happy.
trapped. He trapped 2 balls in left field. I've never seen
I
that happen.
know. It was so weird. It was like he just loses his mind when he gets here. All right, let's talk before we get to the bats. Let's talk about the bullpen because I mentioned it before, but I mean, really, we talked about in the last pod about how you're starting to see what it can look like at the end of games. Unsurprisingly, in case you missed it, Andrew Bellotti put on the IL with a arm falling off of his body because of overuse. But the bullpen looked flat out awesome this weekend. I mean, Jose Alvarado is actually, everyone's saying it, but we're Phillies fans, we'll say it, but he actually is the best reliever in baseball right now, legitimately. Soto has been unhittable for his last few outings. You mentioned it last time, even Kimbrel's getting big outs, got big outs last night. Sir Anthony looks back. I think of all the things we saw this weekend, the bullpen was the thing where you could be like, yo, buddy, that looked impressive.
Yeah. And we said it last podcast, and James, part of what so I love everything about doing this podcast. Like it's again my favorite thing in the world.
Me too.
But the part of this podcast that makes me the most nervous because like again, I watch the Phillies for multiple reasons. One, it's my favorite thing on earth.
Yep.
2, like I need my 2 is that I need my takes to be right. Like I just need what I say to be, because it's just like dude. Like when people start getting all worked up in my,
I know.
It's just like relax. Anyway,
don't
us
read them.
saying
how many times I can tell you for years not to read them, and you'll never not read them. But God,
yeah, but like most of the time they're good. It's just like every once in a while it's like you said. Anyway,
it's a good impression. I feel like that is perfect.
That's how every mean Twitter person.
Yeah.
Oh, you said. Anyway, but what made me nervous is that last podcast we went so hard.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Good luck coming back against Soto, Alvarado, Sir Anthony, Kimbrel, and even the Kimbrel's a little bit shaky, but whatever. Not anymore, baby. He's a Phil.
Craig
Kimbrel's
that
really
about
great.
a bullpen pitcher,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bullpen pitchers come here to be great. That's what happens.
I just want to know dude, they were up 7-3 in the 7th or 8th today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I wasn't even stressing. Like there was so little. I missed it. I missed the batter. I don't miss batters. I went to go and like hang out. I had to grab something for Jill. And I was like, I'm not even worried. Like, I know when I get back, there's going to be an out. Like I know it's not going to be a disaster.
Look at you.
Because what those like again, good luck coming back against those guys. Like just good luck. It's between Soto having 98 in his back pocket with that wipeout slider. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're going to completely ignore the 2 balls to the wall today.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, because listen, Charlie Blackman also got a little, bleeder that ended up being a hit. So that was BS. It was BS.
It was. So you should take his head off.
Yeah, that's very, very fair way to go about it. And then, like, dude, I mean, Sir Anthony's back. I just like, I was worried at the beginning of the season, but I think they fixed his mechanics. I know that you live for mechanical pitching talk.
It's literally all I want. I mean, we could just do an hour of mechanics talk and leave, and I would be happy with every episode.
But as I
Yeah.
said, when he gets out of whack, it's when he's opening up way early, and he's his stuff just is all over the place. And what he's done his last 3 outings is keep that back leg or keep the front leg closed, and it is allowing his 98 to be just a freaking bowling ball.
Yeah, it's
So
so heavy. Like it looks so heavy when he's on. It's like you just feel like how does anyone lift that baseball? It feels impossible.
correct. And then I think Kimbrel is at least he's pitching with confidence now.
He's
It
looked
looks
the
like
last 3 or 4 outings, he's looked, or 2 or 3, whatever it's been, like eye test wise, he's looked better. There's no question.
Well, he's actually generating whiffs. He's not walking the ballpark. His fastball is up to 96, I believe, the last time, so that's a good sign. The slider's staying in the zone long enough to be, tunneled okay off of a fastball. So whatever. Like Kimbrel is going to cost some games. I feel that way, but I think at this point, I believe you can trust him. He's going to be good more often than not. And then you get to Jose Alvarado, who I legitimately believe is going to get Cy Young consideration this year.
Wow, bro.
I think because dude, he can come in 7th, 8th. He can come in the 9th. If Edwin Diaz is getting Cy Young consideration last year, I will raise you a guy that can pitch any inning and multiple innings, and that is striking out 55% of his batters right now.
He's pitched like over 19 innings. I think he's got he's pitched 9 innings. He's got 19 strikeouts and 0 walks. I think he's like 9 1/3 or something. 19 strikeouts, 0 walks. Like that's we don't curse on this pod. I don't know how to describe it without cursing. Like that's how ridiculous it is.
Well, now they flashed something on the screen in the 9th that he has he's throwing 100% strikes on 90% miles an hour pitches, but that can't be true.
Yeah,
because he's definitely throwing balls. So
yeah,
maybe
not many though. That's the point. Like very few.
I think he's walked 1 guy.
0 walks. He's walked 0 guys.
0 walks.
0 walks. Okay. Unless one today. I was in the car, so but no. I don't. No, I was listening. I didn't think about. I think he has 0 walks.
He's just the best. He's just he is morphed into the best reliever in Phillies history. Like just when it comes to stuff and
in this moment, this guy right now, he's got to do it all season and stuff. But like right now, like just today, I would take this dude today against anyone we've ever seen in the Phillies bullpen. Right. Like Billy Wagner in his heyday. Like I'm trying to think of man. Leggy. Yeah, but even then, we talked about Madsen. Last time. Like
it goes like Alvarado, it's like
Alvarado's nastier.
Lidge, Madsen, Romero for that little bit there, I thought was like Alvarado-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Wagner
wasn't quite the same. No, like Billy Wagner's the only one where you could look at and be like, oh, like obviously like the only one who throws as hard. But Alvarado's stuff is insane, dude. It's insane.
Just think about it this way, right? Like Billy Wagner threw pretty much just 100. Like I know he like had a slider, but like Alvarado is 100. But it
like
moves
cuts and sinks.
It moves all over the place.
In, out, yeah.
His cutter's 94.
Wagner threw 100 when like most guys didn't. Like now everyone throws 100. Wagner's 100 was faster than everyone else, but I'm with you. Like he didn't have the arsenal that Alvarado has. He just didn't.
I would put 2014 Stutz in there. I don't think many people would.
Of course. I can't believe we didn't mention him off the top. It's a bad job. It's a bad job. Bad job.
But the thing with the bullpen is right now, at least, is so these guys are obviously those 4 you feel good about, right? You feel good about Soto, Alvarado, Kimbrel, and Sir Anthony. And I feel like we're a mere 2 weeks away from that being put on a t-shirt. I mean, I feel like it should be. But you feel good about those guys. And then I think Brogdon's continuing to he is such a confidence pitcher that he needs some good outings. He needs fastball. He can't just be cutter changeup guy. Like he needs that 95 mile an hour fastball, I believe, to continue to develop into one of the guys that they can fully trust back there. But I think with Brogdon right now, and you talk about important aspects to a team, like I think they have their guys for when they have leads, but just as important is guys when they're either tied or down or
down 3-2, 3-2, 3-1, those kinds of games.
And what they have to find now, James, in order to get this team back to being like top of the NL is they have to find guys that won't extend leads. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're down 2 and you bring
keep
this guy
in games.
Just keep you in games. I think Brogdon's one of those guys. Like Bilotti getting hurt, like isn't the worst thing from the standpoint of like I think he needed a break, and I think
Yeah,
that he
I agree.
was clearly not what we saw last year. He's he threw a slider like a million, like a million feet out of the strike zone the other day. So and then the one wild card that we haven't totally factored in yet, which we talked about a little bit, but like, dude, Matt Strahm when he gets put back there.
Well, that's what we talked about last time. Yeah, it's such a difference maker. They don't have anyone like him there.
So again, we talk about why is it okay, I think, to think that this team's more back than not back. The bullpen's rounded into form. I think the lineup's coming. I mean, they had 4 home runs today. There's a couple more balls hit out of the ballpark. Their average is still really, really good. Starting staff's like probably the one thing right now that's a bit up in the air. But also like Wheeler and Nola were good enough to win them ball games at this point. And it's almost like you have to hope that a month from now, it's like, okay, bang, there's Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
And you got Ranger coming back, and we are both big Ranger Suarez fans. And we think that, assuming, he can get healthy and stay healthy, I think that's a real bonus for this team and for the rotation. All right. I want to get to the take bag in a sec, but let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. The Nick Castellanos game. 2 freaking home runs in a game, both to left field, no less. Like golf that one out of there. I just, what a thrill, man. What a thrill. And big home runs. The second one, like that second one, a really important home run to give them the 4-3 lead, which was what they freaking won by. Like, that was, we talked last pod about how, even without the power, just the confidence and him going up there and getting walks and having some command of the strike zone and not flailing and stuff and just looking confident up there was such a massive upgrade over what we saw last season. Man, if he could add a little bit of power, Jack, and if we could be talking about 20 or something like that. I mean, we talked a bunch and we got some homers today, but the Schwarber one, the Pache homer, obviously we got some homers this weekend, but this team has not hit a ton of home runs comparatively this season. If Casty can give you more than you're expecting, that would be huge.
I love him. I'm sorry. I know. It's like, oh, you're such a sucker. You're so easy. Like, whatever. I love him, dude. I'm so Castellanos being back to being the Castellanos that we thought we were getting is like, it's bringing me the most. Well, that's not true. Well, it's close. There's a lot of things that are bringing me a ton of joy in this team. He is in my top 4 of things that are bringing me the most joy. And the home run yesterday and the 2 home runs, the second one getting out, a little wind blown, but whatever. We take it.
A little bit. We'll take it though. Look, if it was last year, it would have got blown in on Castellanos. So,
sure.
Just evens out. It evens out.
Water always finds its level.
That's
but
right.
I think we said this last podcast where it's like, right, I'll take the doubles. I'll take the average right now. And then as he gets more comfortable, we think that the home runs are going to come. And that's how I felt at the time. And it's good to see that that's already starting to kind of come to fruition, which like he started the ball with authority. Like not only was it 2 home runs last night, that freaking double in the 9th was
dude.
Ripped
it.
Man.
Yeah,
like it was an absolute rope. So he's barreling the baseball. He's not striking out all the time. He's not chasing. He's doing the classic Castellanos things where, like, if he is full, he's still able to flick the bat on it and poke it over the third base or shortstop or second baseman's head and
or
just
even
get a
foul
ton
it
of
off, like where he was never doing that last year.
So, like if you're asking how much do I trust him, I'm pretty much at like an 8 out of 10. Like I think he's just confident. And there's been so many articles written. I think Alex Coffey wrote another article about him today about how like basically he's talking about how last year there's a lot of human stuff. And I know you don't have to say it. Can I say it for you? Can I say it for you so I don't have to do the disclaimer of Jack? I always say this. So let me just get out in front of this.
Go for it.
I think I might, and again, I don't want to put you in the grave prematurely.
But you never do that.
But when you eventually do go down, I think I am going to put on your gravestone, athletes are human beings.
Thank you. I think you should. It's probably the number one thing. Yeah, that's what I want on there. Yeah, that's what I want on there. Beloved father, husband, period, quotes, athletes are humans too.
Well,
or athletes are human beings or whatever. We'll figure out the phrasing.
Again, I would hate to write your tombstone right now.
Would you?
April 23rd of 2023. But if I was doing a James Seltzer tombstone,
This is great. This is good content right here.
beloved father,
Yes.
loving husband,
Yep. Definitely.
producer of WIP morning show.
Yeah, you gotta put that on the tombstone. That's right.
Loves High Hopes more than Go Birds.
Yes.
And athletes are human beings.
Yep. There you go. I think it's we nailed it. We nailed it. That's it.
And
I can die in peace.
And what Elliot and I we will write in quotes is, "I'm tired." Right. Hey, I'm tired. Oh, no way. Really? Didn't see that one coming. So yes, James, this is going on James's tombstone, but athletes are human beings. And like he talked about last year, like he's got a lot of stuff going on. And like he seems like a guy that needs a just a big family. Like I want to be a part of this whole thing, not feel like an outsider. I'm not saying they made him feel like an outsider last year, but when you're paid that contract, you're the new guy. He didn't reach expectations, and he's a perfectionist. Like I think that kind of stuff kind of got all in his head. So what we're seeing now is a guy that he's just comfortable, and as he gets more comfortable, I think we're going to continue to see the Nick Castellanos that again had you and I feel like we're taking crazy pills, because he's been like the best, like one of the top 10 hitters in the freaking league for a decade. Yeah. So I feel pretty good about where we're at with Castellanos, and that was good to see yesterday. Good to see him get another hit today. Good to see Trey Turner leave the ballpark again.
Hey, about it. All he does is hit home runs.
Well, I think last year he had won his first 34 games, so maybe this is something we have to kind of learn with him, is that he's a bit of a slow starter when it comes to hitting for power. But yeah, the Castellanos bounce back season is having me very, very excited.
It's thrilling, honestly, especially because we were so pro it happening in the spring training and prior to the season. So to your point you made at the very top of the show, it's nice when your predictions don't go wrong. Which happens quite a bit. By the way, I mean, Marshy, I mean, I should have mentioned too, the dude's leading the league in OPS. I mean, batting it homer off a lefty today. I can't believe how quick this is happening. And obviously there'll be a lull. Don't expect this guy to lead the league in OPS. Don't expect him to bat 360 or whatever. You never know. But are you surprised? I mean, look, I think we all thought he was going to get better. Are you surprised how quickly this is happening? And how confident are you? You just gave us an 8 on Casty. Like, not that he's going to be 360, 1100 guy, whatever, but like, how confident are you that Marsh is just a good hitter now?
Pretty high. I'm probably more confident in Castellanos just because
I've a much longer track record. Yeah.
Because I've seen it before. But like, dude, like the Marsh thing, it's not even just hitting lefties, hitting righties. It's like with authority. I mean, he could have home run easily yesterday as well. Like it was a ball that went off the top of the fence today. It went out. And what I keep coming back to was the Marlins series, I believe. Whereas late in the game, he's facing Devin Smeltzer, and he hit a 440-foot bomb to left center field. It's like, holy cow! And they talked about a lot on the broadcast today about how like it's one of those trades that like really worked out well for both sides, and it stinks, the Ohapi thing, because now he's out for like 4 to 6 months or whatever with the injury. But I mean, the Angels have a future all-star-ish level catcher.
It looks like a good trade for both sides. Yeah,
exactly. But the Phillies might have found a freaking like all-star caliber center fielder in Brandon Marsh. I'm like,
for a guy who's blocked, like it is what it is. Like he could have been your DH, I guess, but come on,
I know. And the thing about Marsh is that like the defense is already like above replacement level player, at baseline. Like if you're looking at the baseline. And now the batting's coming along, and it's Kevin Long, and it's them getting him on a path and getting him with someone that he could like fully invest in and fully trust, and like not pulling him in a bunch of different directions and having him being taught a bunch of different kind of philosophies. And I think the most important thing for Brandon Marsh is that like he is such a vibes guy in a way, like he's always happy. Yeah. He always brings the energy. And I think pairing him with a Kevin Long, like I just think that we're gonna look up even like a year from now, 2 years from now, and like Marsh is gonna be one of the even more vocal leaders of this team because of what he brings from a locker room clubhouse standpoint, coupled in with the fact that like he's an all-star caliber center fielder. Like they legitimately traded like it's been so long, James, and an old regime since they have traded for a guy that had talent elsewhere and was a former top prospect and have turned him into an all-star.
I know.
Like, this is not what the Phillies do.
It's
not what they do.
No.
It's probably like Worth comes to mind. Like Worth comes to mind of developing into a stud.
Victorino was a Rule 5 pick, but same idea with him.
And he is consistently reminded me of Johnny Damon and Shane Victorino. And I didn't think he was going to be as good of a hitter as those guys. I don't think the average will be there, but the power is certainly going to be probably higher than both of those guys. And he is developing into an absolute stud. And you talk about breakout seasons and comeback seasons and whatever. You have a Castellanos bounce back. You have Marsh breakout, Bowen breakout, Stott breakout. And then you're adding Bryce. Like, it's so exciting. It is so exciting. They have 5 guys batting over 400 right now.
Yeah.
Like 300 right now. Like it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
They're gonna come back. They're gonna break through this. Like the 11 and 12 thing. It's a minor speed bump in what is going to be a great season for this.
Well, Marsh super young too. Is he 25? I mean, it's a really exciting move by the Phillies. And we were talking last time about Gianfranco Stott contract. Now, I mean, that's another guy you start to think about, like, lock that dude up, take away some arb years, all that kind of stuff. If this continues. So, all right, let's get to the take bag.
Marsh, Stott, Bomer. We've been on contract extensions.
All right. Let's get to the take bag. I will actually queue up the first entry of the take bag. I don't know what order we're going to go in, but I know you tweeted it and I wanted to say it too. So I'll just start off the take bag. And I apologize to the cavemen and to Plato, but Jake Cave is horrible. He is a horrible hitter. He cannot be in your lineup every day. I saw your tweet. Pache should play over him. Maybe he should. I mean, Pache's 5 for 18 with a home run. I mean, at least he's doing something. Like, Jake Cave is a hole in your lineup. That's been the biggest, like, when Harper comes back, just Harper for Cave 1 for 1 in a lineup switch. I mean, like, what a massive upgrade. It's going to make this team so much better alone. Nice story, nice spring, Jack, but then the regular season started. Jake Cave can't play every day. He can't.
Well, and I'm just gonna, because if you don't give yourself credit, then I don't know who will. So I want to give myself credit here.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're
because
right.
I did tweet at the end of spring training. I said I need the season to start so that I know if Jake Cave is just spring training good or actually good.
Good. So yes, you were all over that. Yes,
you're welcome.
Thanks. And yes, because I overreact to spring training. Yes, that's
even though I have said on a couple occasions that if you squint, you see Freddie Freeman. So I don't think we're getting a Freddie Freeman season from Jake Cave. But with Pache, like if we're doing this whole thing about how Brandon Marsh went from failed top 50 prospect into a possible all-star caliber center fielder, why can't we do the same with Pache? Like,
Pache wasn't even much higher rank. I mean, Pache was like a top 10 prospect at one point.
I
top
think
15, maybe it's like 50. Are you
I
sure? I
could
have sworn he got into the 50. And look, it depends what lists you look at, right? I mean, he might have been like whatever, but he was a top 20-ish prospect, and Marsh was a top 50-ish prospect.
Right. And once again, I never, ever said that Christian Pache was massively overrated in prospect circles.
No.
But the thing is that, he's actually hitting well. I know he's like, it was a disaster early in the season. I think the big thing to that point would be that, he'd been here for a day. Maybe let's give Kevin Long more than a couple days to figure him out. And with him now is that you see confidence beginning to grow. He's making, I think, more contact. He struck out like on 3 straight pretty good sliders yesterday. So whatever it happens, but he also did some pretty big home run. I mean, that
Yeah,
was
and
like
he had
deep
2
into
hits.
center field.
Yeah, and he had the other hit too. So.
Yeah, and I think with Pache, worst case scenario, dude, is that like what fly ball is getting in
Oh,
with
I know
Marsh
him and
and
Marsh. You
Pache?
could probably just play 2 outfielders. I mean, honestly, they could probably cut. I mean, especially with like Castellanos and Schwarber out there. Like, what are they really doing? Like, just let Marsh and Pache cover the outfield.
Am I being a little too Phillies blinded to say that like Castellanos has been pretty good defensively
He's
this
actually
year?
been decent. No, he hasn't been.
Like
I
he's definitely
can't
taken
say
a step forward, right?
yeah, I can't say pretty good, but he has been better than last year. And to your point, the arm is pretty good. He's been solid, like not not unplayable, which is what he felt like at times last year.
Well, the funniest part about Castellanos is that he came up as a third baseman, and I feel like the one thing he struggles the most with as an outfielder is
The
fielding a ground ball.
ball. I know. It's like and today they could have gotten. I can't remember who ran over.
I think it's Profar.
I think it was Profar. Like they probably could have gotten him if he fielded that clean. Like they probably had that out, and it didn't end up mattering. But yeah, it is.
But when he comes down to like tracking a fly ball and getting there, he's gotten like way better at it. Like I didn't think that this was going to come from Castellanos. So add that to the breakout season for him. But like Pache, like just at this point, you traded for him. Jake Cave's always been just meh. Like you worst case scenario is you get Gold Glove, center field, left field if you play him every day. Best case is like, hey, what if he continues to develop? Like I don't think
it's a real asset.
He keeps reminding me of at the plate is BJ Upton. Like like the swings remind me of each other. You know, I think he's a pretty good defensive player.
BJ Upton was, yeah, and BJ Upton played multiple positions throughout his career.
And he's never going to be a big home run guy, but like anytime he hits that kind of home run in that spot, the deep center field, like there's something there. So
yeah,
JK's not good. He's never been good.
He's bad. Like he's actively bad. Yeah.
So just freaking.
I don't hate it.
Pache.
I don't hate it. Well, especially we're like 2 weeks away from it not mattering. So just get me to Bryce.
I don't think he has a hit off a righty left or ready yet, but he is batting .400 against lefties. So
there you go. Yeah. All right.
Face more lefties.
Yeah. Give us more lefties. Please, managers, put lefties in the face, Pache. It's good managing, I promise. All right. What do you got in the take back?
I thought Sanchez looked better than he had in years past.
Solid. Got him into the fifth, in that spot. It was fine.
Him and Falter are pretty interchangeable, but I think Falter gives you a better chance to give you 6-7 innings. Whereas I feel like Sanchez will strike out more, but it's more 4 2/3, 5 innings.
I agree with you.
Than Falter. So worst case scenario is hopefully they found someone that can come up and give them a couple of innings. Cody Clemens had a home run today.
I know. How about it? Something I never thought I would see.
Which is more surprising, the Cody Clemens home run or the Christian Pache home run on Saturday?
The Christian Pache.
Yeah, for sure.
It just is. Yeah, just is.
There was nothing worse than I don't know if you experience this more than I do. So when I watch games, I have TweetDeck up and I have all the notifications on from MLB and stuff. So like I get and I literally I pay for cable because I can't deal with delays.
I know we've talked about this before. Yes,
the freaking Peacock feed is so slow. Dude, it's awful. It's awful. I'm getting notifications as the ball's as the pitch is about to come. I'm seeing tweets about they're two pitches ahead.
You get way too many notifications. I would lose my mind. I don't have any notifications for anything.
It is the worst. It is the worst. So I will never buy a streaming service until they figure out how to have things quicker.
Well, I think that's a fair argument. I just don't look at my Twitter during plays and stuff. Yeah, I know, but it's hard for you. I know. We're different people.
Well, it's just
we're different people. It's okay. You are who you are. You got to think about the brand, all that good stuff. You're way bigger Twitter influencer than I am. But it's funny because obviously I have no sympathy for you in this specific case because this is my life. But it is funny because I was out in the burbs today. We went to see Emily's dad, and I was listening to the game on the way back, and it's so funny because I will when I'm in the car or especially not as much when I'm in the car, but when I'm listening and I'm not driving and I'll be looking at my phone or whatever, I'll always be like, oh no, don't look at Twitter. I'm behind, and they'll be like, oh no, wait, I'm listening to it on the radio. Like I'm not behind. I'm actually as live as it could be. So like it does scar you where like even when you're watching it live somewhere, I'm always worried that I can't open Twitter because I'm going to find something out. So, it's my life.
It's very old school of you, I will say.
I know.
I physically
yeah,
can't do it.
except cord cutting is very new school with me though. So it goes both ways.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
See?
I'm
a paradox.
I know. Well, listen, whatever. I hate the Peacock thing. It drives me insane. Like, just please, can one of these streaming services figure out how to make it as close to live as possible?
I get it.
Anyway.
I get it. It's a fair gripe.
I thought Zach Wheeler was kind of rushing in the fourth, but we kind of went over that. I had that written down.
But you can skip it if we already talked about it, right? You didn't have to just because you wrote it down.
I want to make sure that it was double down.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I need broadcasters to stop calling Jose Alvarado Jose Alvarez. Matt Sturgeon called him Jose Alvarez today, and it's just Jose Alvarez got smoked in the nether regions in his last game as a Philly. And Jose Alvarado's developed into one of the better relievers in all of baseball. So if we could stop doing that, that'd be great. Please stop disrespecting Jose Alvarado. And I believe if Jose Alvarado was playing in the NBA, he'd be the hitter would be suspended for at least a couple games.
That's for sure.
The NBA's got a problem with guys.
Yeah, it's an epidemic, Jack. It's an epidemic.
It's the biggest issue facing basketball right now. These guys can't stop.
I know. And look, I totally agree with what you're saying, Jose Alvarado. Respect the man, but shout out to Jose Alvarez. I did like that guy, and I enjoy. Like in an era of Phillies relievers where I pretty much hated every single guy who ever came out of the bullpen, I didn't hate him as much. So,
Well, and every time the 2020 Phillies played in a AAA ballpark, I felt like something went wrong. They went to Dunedin.
Toronto had and then not against Toronto, not in Toronto. Yep.
Well, Segura versus Girardi was in Dunedin. The Vince Velasquez meltdown was in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Alvarez, getting smoked and never pitching for the Phillies again was in Buffalo. The Blue Jays AAA ballpark.
Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah,
did not work out well for us. And you know how I am big, James, on finding like my lucky thing.
Yes, do I? Yes,
people,
your spot or your shirt or this or whatever. Yes.
So famously in 2008, I sat in the same spot for every game, and hence why they won the World Series.
Same with the Eagles Super Bowl run at WIP. You had that spot in the studio where you had to be. I know.
I lean on the spot in the studio at WIP at 400 Market, and that's why the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Last year was tough because we were at a lot of the games, so it was tough to find the thing that was going to lead to bounce backs. I don't have the numbers in front of me, just full disclosure. But last 3 games, I've worn the High Hope shirt, the new High Hope shirt, and they're 3-0. And when they went down today, I went upstairs and I put it on.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. So whether it's
the High Hope shirts, is that what you're saying? That's like the thing.
I pulled out all the stops today. All the stops. I put on the High Hope shirt. I bet on the Rockies. I cracked open a Miller Lite and when they were down. So all 3 led to a Phil's victory today. So
in fact, you know what? Hold on. People who are watching can see this. I'm standing up.
Thank you.
That's
beautiful.
I can't sit down and do it. Like I have to give you your what you deserve for that. Thank you.
It does take a brave soul.
It does to change shirts, to bet, to drink. It's really putting yourself out there, man. Thank you. Brave, brave's the word. I appreciate you going brave because that's the word.
Would you say that it's probably too much for April 23rd? Betting, having beers.
Yeah. I think no, it's not. No, it's just because you know what? If the players are going to go out there and play 162 and slog through the dog days and bring it every day, you know what? You need to too, because you're basically on the team in your mind.
Well, I don't know if it's in my mind. It's very, very important to the success of the Phillies is what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, I feel good that I found my shirt because I was in a rough period there. I was like, well, this one Philly shirt doesn't work. This other Philly shirt doesn't work. Let me try an Eagles shirt. That got me a win. And then they lost the next 2 games. I put on the Eagles shirt. Bang, high hope shirt. Phils get hot. So it's good. Season can officially start now.
It honestly is my favorite thing that's been said the whole pod, and I really enjoyed the pod.
What about your tombstone?
Yeah, I love that part too. You're right. That was very fun. Yes. Great point. Thank you. The tombstone and the high hope shirt, my 2 favorite parts of the pod. So I'm happy they happen.
Good. I'm happy for you too.
Yeah, I just like that you think of what's going to be on my tombstone. So
every day. Someone say it's counting down the days, pal. counting down
the days. The final outs. You're really loving the final outs. You're like, oh, do I really need the other guy?
Yeah. Does it let me ask you hypothetically, okay?
Yes.
Does it kill you that when you eventually do pass on, that I'm going to be sitting there at your funeral thinking about putting something on your tombstone and probably giving a little smirk, like a little, like obviously heartbroken, but also like a little.
Honestly, I fully support it. I'm fully supportive of it. I appreciate it.
Good.
I want you to think about this conversation when it happens too. Yeah.
I hope Emily or Zoe never listen to this portion.
Well,
of the podcast.
don't worry, bud. Emily's never listened to a single pod I've ever done, ever. So I think we'll be good there.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you think that Miller Lights for Phil's wins because it's going to be on my tombstone?
I think so. That Harper Lent. Yeah, that kind. Yeah, you're filling it up pretty quickly here, though.
Does not
Fritz at 6.
Does not handle Phil's loss as well.
No, yeah. Had a kid for content. That would be a good one. Yeah.
I haven't used it for content recently. Well,
I know.
I was at a wedding last night. Shout out to Amaya and Allison. And so many questions about Walker.
I'm sure. He's a celebrity.
You getting any sleep? No. Do I look like I'm getting any sleep? I'm dead inside. Anyway, no. My answer is I don't even know how to answer because it's like on one hand, it's like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened, and like
yes,
I thought I'd be like really happy about being a dad, but it's been way better.
It's the best. It's way better. It's way better.
At the same time, like just very, very tired all the time, and like I wanted to go home at 9.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, but
welcome
like
my life.
But I'm Pat. But hold on. First off, Zoe's like 4 now. She's sleeping.
Well, now it's because of the morning show. It's not because of Zoe anymore. Zoe stays up later than I do, dude. So yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like I go to bed before my 4-year-old daughter, so it's great. It's a good thing. Yeah, nice. At least on nights when the Phillies don't play, and then when the Phillies don't play, I'm extra tired. Or Phillies play, I stay up and watch, and then I'm extra tired. So it's great.
But pitch clock.
But dude, heaven, the greatest thing that has happened in the history of my life is the pitch clock in 2023. Like,
think about it. Angelo had to do it for 30 years without a pitch clock.
It's so funny. Except when he first started, they used to play games that were this long. Somehow over the time, we added the extra 40 minutes or whatever, you know? Like when he first started the show, it was like, oh yeah, games are 2.5 hours. What happened?
And it was the 90s Phillies.
Yeah. Who cares?
Outside of 93, it's like, eh.
Oh yeah, it's very much like, it's not good. Not good. It was not a great time to be a young fledgling Phillies fan, let me tell you.
I actually was thinking about that today. I was like, man, Walker gets to grow up with like Turner and Harper and all these guys, and I was thinking about, and I know you're different, but like I was like, wow, I was like Omar Dahl and Randy Wolf and Doug Glanville and Abreu and young J-Roll, you know, like this
Steve
kid.
Jeltz and Ricky Jordan, and I feel you, dude. If we both,
spoiled.
It's good. I know. Well, you know what? I'll take it.
I did get a World Series 14 years in my life.
Yeah, so it took me 27 to get a World Series. So you win on that one. That's for damn sure.
All right. Good.
Yeah, it did. Well, we won it. It's all good. Yeah. Let's get another. That would be pretty cool. You know, because you know, now it's been 13, 14. So for the whole time it took you to get one, I've waited for the next one already. So, all right. You got any final thoughts, buddy?
My final thought is
it's pretty much bedtime for me.
My final thought is shout out to the Angels for trading away your best center fielder in team history to the Phillies, and thank you once again. So traded an actual winner, traded an actual winner to the Phillies in Brandon Marsh. So
I love it.
appreciate you. And I can't believe there's a freaking off day tomorrow because the Phillies just found their footing. So once again, Major League Baseball ruining my life.
Yeah, I will take it because that means I can go to bed at like 6 o'clock and get some good sleep.
Oh my gosh,
gear up for the week. So it'll be great. All right. We get it. We'll be back later in the week. Obviously,
final thought.
Draft this week, all that. So we'll
Bijan or bust. Obviously, Bijan.
Oh, that's your final thought. Yeah. And
Bring
people get,
Bijan.
Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy over here. Are you gonna do an Eagles chant or something too? Or
no, never. But no, it's just like bring me Bijan. Bring me Bijan.
That's fair.
If they draft Skoronski,
I'm more worried about the Phillies, but no big deal. No big deal.
Yeah. I would never be worried about the Phillies.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. He's Fritz and Seltzer.